Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies, strengthening your business while offering your talents to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Oh, goodness. All right. I got to tell you, he designs some of just my favorite websites. I'm going to tell you right there. And I'm bringing him on now because Nate, oh my goodness, I got to bring you up here. Hi, Nate.
Hi, Christine. How are you doing?
I'm so excited that you're going to talk today. There is just something that's so just unique. You have this way of pulling out people's personalities. Just you feel like you're looking into their soul when you look at the website you've designed for them. I'm just going to say that. I'm a huge fan. Well, so those that don't know you yet, Nate, tell them a little bit about you.
Well, I was working for a nonprofit, which was fun. And I was working on their website and their social media, and it was going great. And then I realized I could be working for a lot more people. I could reach more people that do good for others. So I decided to get into business for myself, to do online marketing.
And what made you decide on websites out of all the crazy things?
Well, 20 years ago, I started playing around with websites, and I just really enjoy them. And the website, even the ones I made in the beginning, people enjoyed. So yeah.
You just kind of found your zone, right? That's kind of how I was with networking, right? I was like, this is a thing. This is so cool. I get to build relationships. Yes. Right. So I sounds like you were kind of feeling that same way when you're playing with the website. So I've got fun stuff, and I know we've got slides. You want me to pull them up?
Sure.
You want to dive in? Okay, here they come.
And do I make them go forward, or do you?
You have the controls. Feel free to click them forward.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about essential elements for websites that convert. So the thing is, if you have a website, do you want it to give you warm leads? Or if you do, then there's ways to adapt your website for that. And so that's what we're going to talk about, and why. Why do you want, so really, why do you, I'm clicking on it, Christine, it's not going anywhere. There it is. Okay. So why do you want conversion on your website? Well, first of all, your website is a 24-hour salesperson, right? So it's out there while you're sleeping, it's out there, and it's converting people or not. And so we want to make it where it converts people all the time. And of course, the more warm leads you get from your website, the more you get ideal clients. And then, of course, your business grows, and so does your revenue. And it's a competitive edge because, you know, I see a lot of websites that really wouldn't convert, and they're nice and everything, but they're just not. I mean, people aren't going to stay on them, for one thing, you know. So if you have a website that converts, then you are having a competitive advantage. Okay, click in the middle. Okay, there we go. So the first thing we want to do is understand the customer journey and what what's needed for that, what's needed to move them along. So the first thing is they become aware of you. Maybe they see one of your social media posts, okay, but they didn't go to your website yet. And then you have more, like maybe paid ads, more social media out there. You're out there, and they see you about 7 to 11 times. Then they're going to be very interested in you. And so then they're going to go to your website, and they're thinking about it. And then they get to consideration, where they're actively considering you versus another company. And so that's where you want your website to really shine. Once they're on it, you want it to shine so that they choose you. And choosing you has to do with building trust. And conversion is when that's the final stage where they do what you ask them to do. It could be click on this link to get to a contact form to contact us, or call this phone number, or click on this link for a lead magnet, a item that is, you have it out there just to draw leads with. And you get the emails from the people for it. So anyway, you have then converted your client now. So you have the client, and then you want to retain them for two reasons. Of course, you want to retain them. They're going to buy more services, Second of all, they're going to refer to you. So if you treat them right, then they're going to refer other people to you. And referrals are a fantastic way to grow your business. Referrals are like the best. They're worth their weight in gold. Okay, so what kind of messaging do you want on the website? Compelling. You want to speak to their needs. So you need to understand the customer. I just heard it today, KYC, know your customer. And that's so true for all of us. Know the customer, what are their needs, and then what are their pain points? So let's say somebody has a headache and they happen to be online, and they're not even realizing they're going to find a solution to it. So they have a headache. Maybe you can address that, pain. If you have a headache, try this, right? And then you give them the valuable solution. Well, I'm an acupuncturist. I treat people with headaches all the time and really reduce those headaches. So it's the messaging. And as Christine mentioned, of course, all the way through this, it should be your personality, your values, your personality should come through, because that's what makes you unique. You don't want to be a cookie cutter of everybody else, because you may not get selected by your potential clients.
Yeah, I noticed with the compelling messaging, right? It used to be back in the old school style. We were teasing earlier in one of the talks about how, pulling people out of the 1990s, right? Remember, websites used to just be billboards, right?
Yes.
I sell
Mhm.
this, I sell this, and this is what I do, right? And it was just billboards. It was like taking the billboards you see when you're driving down the highway, right? And putting those on electronic places, right? I mean, that was pretty much it. But now we really have higher expectations for our websites, right? So they talk about compelling content and messaging, right? We're really looking to have that aha moment, right? When we're on the page of, oh, they're talking to me, right? It resonates with your people. So yeah, no, I love it. And that's one of the things I love about the website you design.
Thank you. And can you advance the slide? It's not
Absolutely.
Thank you. So one thing that you want to build up trust, right? You want the leads, the potential leads. They're not leads yet, but when they get to your website, you want them to become warm leads. And you can do that with social proof, which it helps them trust in you more. So one thing you really want to include are customer testimonials, happy clients. What did your happy clients say? And so you put those on your homepage. I see so many websites where they hide it on its own page. And guess who doesn't go there necessarily? You know, they're on your homepage. You want them to be immediately wowed by your company. So put them on the homepage. Put all of this on the homepage. Industry awards, if you have any industry awards. If you don't, that's cool. But if you do, put them up there. They usually give you a little badge you can use. These happen to be from Alignable. I'm an Alignable ambassador, and I won this award 3 years in a row. And then,
heck yeah, you want that on your website, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And social media engagement. You can actually post, like, say you get comments on your social media. You can post those as well on your website. Here are what people are talking about on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn about my content. And so then there's another positive point of view about you. And then your client logos. It's reassuring for people to see that you worked with a bunch of clients. And what kind of clients did you work with? You know, mine here are quite a variety, but they all have one thing in common: is they serve people and they do good.
I know that feeling. That's probably why your websites resonate with me, because that's who I like to work with too.
Yes. So intuitive web design. As we mentioned before, you have to prioritize the user needs. You need to know what the needs are at first. Know what the needs are of your client, and then you want to put that front and center. You have, troubled by headaches. I'm going to stick with the head. I don't have a headache right now, by the way.
I don't know.
Are you getting one?
Maybe we want to pick a different topic than headaches.
Okay, dog groomer. You need a dog groomer. That's a little more fun, huh? So, but why do people bring their dog to a company to get it groomed? What's the need? What's the pain point? Maybe the
you know your audience now.
Yeah. What's the pain point, Christine?
That's right. There's a pain point, right? I'm looking for a groomer. I'm going, oh my goodness, my girl, she's a hot mess. Look at her. She can't see. It's in front of her eyes, right?
Yes, exactly. So that's what you want to talk about on your website if you're a dog groomer. And you also want to make sure that they can find their way around your website. They're not going to, hopefully they go beyond your homepage, but they're not going to if you have a difficult navigation system. So you want a clear menu with just 5 or 6 tabs on there, 7 at the very most. And then you want buttons that say clearly what you are going to give them when they click on that. Maybe you're going to give them a phone number. So, it's like, call us. Of course, you can do that much better way. Just put the phone number and have a link in there to call you. Anyway, but, like sign up for the newsletter, that kind of thing. So they know what they're getting. And if you want, and you can do the read more too. So, you have a short paragraph and then it drops down to more text. So it's not taking up so much real estate. Mm-hmm. So the more is obvious. It's okay, I'm going to click it and it's going to drop down. So there's another navigation aspect.
Yeah, that's true, because it used to be you just designed a website. Now you have to make sure that it's mobile friendly on top of that. And then all the mobiles are different, let alone.
Exactly. That was the next point. Optimize for mobile. Because we've all seen websites that don't adapt to mobile. We've all seen them. We know what they do. They go off the edge. When you try to read, the font is way too tiny. The pictures overlap.
And it's so big and you can't get to the X to close it, so you can't do anything on the page. Oh, there's my pet peeve.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you want to make sure more people go on do searches on the internet with a mobile phone than a desktop or a laptop. So you definitely want to keep mobile in mind and test it out on several different mobiles if you can, like a tablet and maybe even 2 different phones. Get your friend's phone, etc. And then accessibility. Well, this is a big thing for me. Accessibility. What I mean by accessibility is that everyone can use your website. Nobody is left out. So if somebody is blind, you think, well, they're not going to need my website because they're blind. Oh, you'd be surprised. There was a sporting page, and that owner thought that the blind person wouldn't need their website, but he was very wrong because the blind person wanted to use it. I think they even had somebody they knew in that sport, so they wanted to look that up. So anyway, people will want to use your website, but if they get there and they can't use it, and if it's not easy to use, they're going to leave, no matter whether they have a disability or not.
Yeah, you have a solution for that too, don't you?
Yeah, so I have a tool that I put on websites that allows for a menu so that the visitor can select from the menu what they need. They need more contrast, great. It'll do that just for them, not for everybody else. If they need less contrast, the next person needs less contrast. Well, it'll do that for them, but not change it for the first person. So you see, every single thing they need is on there, and they just click on it, and then it saves it for the next time they come to your site. So they don't have to click on it more than one time, basically. But there's all kinds of accessibility tricks on the tool. So then, visual hierarchy. Well, it helps to have your headings in the right order. Okay, what I mean by that is that by size. So H1 is the biggest. You want that only one of those on a page, and you want it at the top. And then you have your H2. It's a little smaller, and H3 a little smaller, and you get the idea. So, and then you don't pop a big H1 down below that, which people do all the time, but don't do that because it messes up your search engine optimization. The bots can't read your page very well because they want to look at all your H1s first. And now there's two of them, it gets them mixed up. So you want to keep that simple and friendly. Okay, boosting your conversion rate. So here's it's kind of a summary, summary. As we mentioned, the needs, the preferences, the pain points of your customer. You want an enjoyable user experience, like page speed. People do not wait over 2 seconds. I mean, really, not usually. If your page takes 6 seconds, they may be gone.
Instant gratification, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you want to test your page out regularly and make sure it stays fast. And there's ways to get the website faster that I do that too. You want the navigation. We already mentioned that. We want to be able to get through the site and know where we're going. Clarity, the buttons that say where they're going. What they're going to. Legibility is a big one.
Oh yeah.
How many people have seen a website where there's stuff you can't read on it? White on
light. They use some fancy font, and you're like, I don't even know what that says.
Absolutely. Yesterday, I saw a website with light gray and white font on it. I'm like, I can't read that, and I'm reviewing the website, so I'm letting them know.
Yep.
They need to change that. And we already mentioned accessibility, make it usable for everyone. And gather customer feedback. This is essential. What you can do actually is not just your friends, because your friends all say, oh, that's great, Nate. Oh, that's such a great website. You want to know, okay, that's nice. Now, what's wrong with it?
Right. So we need constructive feedback so we can improve.
So find people that will do that. Either maybe your current clients, or relatives that are, hey, they're going to say it how it is, that kind of thing. You can also do testing, A/B testing. So you try one thing for a while, and then you try the different thing for a while, and which one works better for you. And, there's incentives you can have on your site for people to buy what you're selling, and you can vary those too and see what incentive works better. So
Absolutely. I love this. So I would say take a screenshot of this. If you haven't already, pull out your phone, take a picture of that. If you're on your phone, take a screenshot, right? Because these are things that you're going to want to go back and look at on your website and say, ooh, wait a minute. Uh-oh, you might need some help.
yeah, thank you. So lead capture. Well, okay, so you get the person to your site. How do you capture them as a lead? So there's lead capture forms. We mentioned, sign up for the newsletter, and then you get their email address, or you use a lead magnet, which may be a PDF of something that's very valuable to them, but they don't have to pay for it. And then but they have to give you the email address to get it, which is, what I do once in a while.
Oh, I think we have one of those today, don't we?
We do.
We're going to use this as an example. Perfect. I love it. I've got a link to it.
Yeah, exactly. You can have pop-ups, but make sure it's opt-in. I mean, at least give them a very easy way to get rid of it. And it doesn't pop up again on the same visit or every single visit. Those are settings you can set on your website. So next.
There we go.
Thank you. So here's talking about a lead magnet. You want it to be helpful. If they use it at least once, they're going to appreciate it, and they'll appreciate you and more likely buy from you. Credible. So they need to believe it. So like if it's 10 ways to do whatever, you want to be believable so that they can try it out and see for themselves. Shareable. Now, this is where it's really great. It's exciting when they share your lead magnet with other people. So then you've got more possibilities of leads. And then strategic, of course, you want it to be one that would turn leads into clients. So next.
And I just put out the link. So it's in the chat. Click on that link if you want to get Nate's free checklist.
Yeah, what it is. I'll tell you right now what it is. It's 10 mistakes that people make that really, they're, I would say fatal, but you don't die over it. It's pretty bad, so you don't want to be doing these 10 mistakes and
because it destroys your credibility, right? And people are thinking, man, do I really want to do business with this person, right?
Right.
That
So
makes sense.
Get that checklist, and then it'll give you a link, email address for me. So if you have questions, you can email me from there. So metrics, you want to make sure you measure all your metrics that are essential for, you want to get website visitors, of course, but you also want to get like the bounce rate. When do they leave before doing anything on another page? And that bounce rate will tell you how, you got people to your site, but if you have a high bounce rate, your site is not reaching them. They're not appreciating it. They're not getting interested.
Yeah, something's not resonating, huh? If they're leaving that fast. So you want them to stay because they like what they see.
Yes, exactly. And there's a lot having to do with search engine optimization, which is a whole other topic. But you do want to keep it in mind, and you want to have someone or do it yourself measure all the metrics related to that. So, and then there's, when they come to your site, do they click on something? You can get that metric too. So that all of these are essential. So next, please. Thank you. So boost your conversion rates. So we talked about the client's journey. So here's a review. It's awareness, then interest, then consideration, then conversion, and then retention. So you want to make sure you understand those different steps of the journey. And then you can more likely get them to move along the steps. So, if they're aware of you, but they're not interested, you got to think about that. Well, what would change that? And you go from there.
Yeah, take a picture of this one. Grab your phone, take a picture, because you're probably going to want to take a look and see, oh, how do I have anything like this set up in my system, right?
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And then metrics, it's really important to measure. As I mentioned before, you really don't know how your business is doing unless you have metrics. If because you don't know how many visitors come to your site. You don't know how many stay long enough to do something. You don't know what they where they came from. You want to know where they came from before, like, was it Facebook, then your website, then your Facebook is doing well.
Right. So if you don't know anything about any of this, stick around, because we're talking about conversions right now, but I'm pretty sure our next speaker is going to be dipping into the topic about metrics. So you're in the right place at the right time.
Good. I love it. Okay, next. Okay, here it is. You can scan the screen. Let me talk a little bit about what it is. It is a lead magnet. You can even if you just want to see an example of a lead magnet, get this. It's what it tells is 10 mistakes in web design, which is what it's called. But these are ones I see all the time that are really hurting the site. And I really, from my heart, I want people to do well. I want their sites to do well. And if they follow these instructions, their site will be much better, and that'll make me happy.
There we go. That's what we're doing. Spreading joy and happiness.
Yep.
One website at a time.
Yes.
I love this. So scan that or grab the link that was we dropped in the chat. Get a hold of that freebie from Nate. If you have questions, there's his contact information. Feel free to reach out. Find him on LinkedIn, Nate Saucier, right? Attraction Unlimited Marketing. So if you're wanting someone to take another look at your website for you, he's got a good eye for it. So reach out, have that conversation. So how much does it cost for this conversation with you, Nate?
Well, a short one, it's free.
Oh, there you go. So don't take an hour of his time or 5 hours or something, but
No.
have a conversation with him. He loves talking about this stuff.
I do.
He does. All right. I love that. Okay.
Christine.
I'm taking it down. 3, 2, 1. There it goes. Thank you so much for coming to play, Nate.
Thank you, Christine, for having me.
All right. We'll see you again soon.
Okay.